we are at 1,000 online partners. We hope to consistently deliver. Go pee, man. Go pee. Gosh darn it, this man. He's so nervous. He's so nervous. Go. We hope to continue delivering you guys value in this community with use of our Discord, with daily replays of our streams, unedited, with early access to our podcast. For example, Friday we have, of course, Greg Laurie coming on with the new movie Jesus Revolution. That's going to be insane. And so that's going to be here first, just like this. Okay, so make sure you're tapped in. Make sure you got the Patreon app. Make sure your notifications are on, all that good stuff. Because ultimately, we're trying to move everything over from needing to be dependent on AdSense, needing to be dependent on the algorithm, to you guys being our boss. And when we get to about 3,000 partners, that will cover all of our expenses with some margin, everything. It'll cover everything, and it's going to be it's going to be amazing. Pastor Greg is going to be here at 10:30 Friday morning, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time Friday morning, Aaron. I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad to see all you guys here. This is only going to be up for 48 hours, okay? So y'all are here live. We may open up the interview chat if we have time. We're going to start doing that more frequently, too, for those of you guys that are at the $10 tier. We're going to be opening up the calls probably through the daily streams and even work you guys in or your questions into the content. So, thank you. That's all I got to say. Thank you. That's the intro. We're going to get into this story. This is by far the greatest story. Zach is so nervous to tell it. Please don't screen record this. We cannot have this on the internet. This involves people Zach is still friendly with, okay? And this is why it's online only, okay? So, Zach, you ready?
If you love Jesus, you won't do that.
Yeah. You ready? Talk to us. Here we go.
Okay, let's start from diapers, man.
Diapers.
We're excited. I'm excited to have you guys here today. I just want to say thank you for the support. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I was just a young lad. Okay, we'll start from the beginning. I honestly didn't think we'd get here this fast, and so I have to flesh this out in real time.
We fleshed this out already. Speaking of which, tell me what you guys want for 2,000 online partners, because we got to come. I'm thinking about having my dad on for 2,000.
That'd be awesome.
So keep that in mind. Maybe leave it on the comment. 2,000 and 3,000. You ready, man? Come on,
I'm ready.
No stalling.
All right, cool. Boom. Let's rewind. I'm about 12 or 13 years old. Me and my brother are good friends. We're about 2.5 years apart, and we grew up in church. So in this youth group, there's many different types of folk. But me and my brother click with a few dudes right away. Some were, before this, long childhood friends. So let's say within a year of us, around 12 years old, there's this solid friend group. And there's about 5 of us. Okay. Now this group of 5, 5 of us, became really close friends, all guys. And we hung out all the time. We would play video games at each other's houses. We would come early on Sunday to help set up for church. We would joke around. We had white boy sus humor.
Oh yeah,
sus white
boy.
You
had a little bit of that sus humor when you first came around too.
I still got that. I still got it deep. Yeah, but imagine white boy sus humor just
it's all that's actually going to connect beautifully with the motif.
Young teenagers, and it was all there. We're just goofing around, having a good time, being silly gooses. And it was we're generally nerds, I would say, in a sweet way. It was my brother and 2 friends his age, actually 3 friends his age, and then myself. And then I was probably about a year and a half younger than the youngest one. And we had some sort of camaraderie going. And in this camaraderie, there's jokes, there's people making fun of people, and people making fun of others, and having a good old sweet time. Now, this time moves on, and my brother and his 2 really close friends start to kind of distance themselves from me and my friend Steve. Now, the biggest difference was that me and Steve were kind of more about our faith than my brother and his friends. I wouldn't say they were off the wagon, but they were kind of living their life. You know, they would make comments about girls and kind of be disrespectful and inappropriate. And I was a sweet kid, man.
Steve is not his real name.
Steve's
identity changed.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm tracking. Okay. So I know who Steve is.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, good.
So me and Steve become really good friends. Like, I mean, since 12 years old, really, but especially 14, 15, as my friends start to like objectify girls. They're just into different things. Yep. Me and Steve were into football, and we were into just kind of kicking it, more chilling, right? Let's go get food. Let's go for hikes. Where my brother and his friends play video games, a little bit of debauchery, just didn't gel well, and they were also a little nerdier than we were. They were JV Christians. Yeah. Just kidding. Yep. No. So me and my buddy become closer, and it's great. And he was homeschooled, and then I started being homeschooled. Hung out all the time. Around that time, there was a female friend introduced. We'll call her Rachel.
Oops.
We'll call her Rachel. And this was a happy medium. She was, she wasn't super girly girl. I was homeschooled. Brent was homeschooled. She liked sports. She was a hoot to be around. And we hung out all the time, us three. Ride or die. That was the group. Okay. So I was homeschooled, Steve was homeschooled, and Rachel was not homeschooled. So she was kind of the cool one in the group.
She was the edgy one.
Edgy, yeah.
Right.
But not actually super edgy.
Okay.
And so we're homeschooled. So I like not every day, but multiple days a week. After school, finished by like 11 a.m., 12 p.m.
Shout out to all the homeschoolers.
Yeah. Ride my bike like 4 miles down to the homie's house, Steve.
Yep.
And we just kick it. We'd go, then he got into photography with me, and we started doing photography together. And we would shoot stuff on the railroad and all this stuff. And then when Rachel would get out, we'd come hang out with her, have a fun time, do more neutral things like just hang out at the mall, regular, shoot the shoot, as they say. And over time, I noticed a sensitivity develop. I would say partially from Rachel. We would text privately. And I also noticed a sensitivity from Steve.
What do you mean by sensitivity?
Just over time. I mean, he wasn't super like alpha. So in the group of us 5 guys, if we're talking about dominance hierarchy, he's at the bottom.
He's at the bottom.
He's at the very bottom. When we would do a large camping trip, or like we did a backpacking trip when I were 15, 16, all 5 guys, and just us, no parents, went out to Yosemite, and then backpacked for 4 days, carried everything on our backs, went down the mountain.
Yeah. Sounds terrible, by the way.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, keep going.
Would recommend. So in that time, like Steve gets his knee injured, and he's just not as mentally tough as the rest of the guys, and he needs a lot of help. My brother and his friends take off ahead of us. Like, dude, Steve, if you're gonna be slow, we're not dealing with it. So I'm like, dang, we don't even know our meeting point at the bottom of the mountain. So my brothers actually grab his backpack.
Wow.
They grab his backpack and they get a stick, and they're carrying it in between them. These are 50-pound packs. And so they're carrying it in between them while
somebody carry Steve too?
No. And so I'm walking with Steve in the back, and he's like hurt his knee, and we're going downhill the entire time, right? So I'm sitting there like, bro, we have to make it. Like, we can't get them out of our line of sights. We don't have walkie-talkies. We don't have anything. We just know we're meeting at the bottom of this mountain. So I was like, we need to keep going. And then the sun's setting. We're on the side of a mountain in Yosemite. It's rock. There's no place. And so we're walking, and I don't know what to. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know. And I'm like, bro, come on. We have to go. And I was like, here's a walking stick. He grabs the walking stick. He's walking. And I notice in my head, mind you, this was a 12-mile hike down a mountain. And so we're on mile 10 here. And I'm exhausted. Sun is setting. I notice he's walking slower because the freaking cane. He's trying to use it like properly. So complete silence. I'm just babying him, trying to get him down this mountain so we don't get left behind. And I just grabbed the stick and chuck it off the side of the mountain. No words were said, and we just kept walking. And he started walking faster. I'm like, chucked it down the
Alpha Zach over here.
And I was like, bro, we got it. And so we get down to the bottom, we make it,
Yeah.
and then my buddies put it this way. He said, Steve, you're your liability.
Whoa.
It's like, damn, bro. You're gonna call Steve a liability.
Wow.
Oh, that hurts. And so that's kind of the sensitivity.
Yes. Okay.
Like,
okay. I
in
got
the
you.
activities that the guys would do, he was considered a liability.
Yep.
And so he gelled well with like the arts.
Yep.
Us taking photos and then hanging out with another female.
Yes.
I'm like, cool. So we'd hang out all the time. And I also noticed like me and Rachel would get really close. And me and Steve didn't have any female friends in homeschool. Now I gotta talk slower. I'm getting too comfortable. Steve, we're going with Steve. and check this out.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily, I don't have social media.
I really hope he never sees this.
Okay, so me and Steve, like, there's no females around the whole year that I'm homeschooled. It's literally just her. So over time, you know, it's easy to like not sure if you're developing feelings or you don't know how you feel, right?
Yeah.
But I think there was definitely a tiny little teenage spark there.
With you and Ashley.
Rachel.
Ashley wasn't her real name, was it?
No.
Okay.
No.
But on her end, or you as well? You had a little spark there.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
I would say at the time.
Okay.
But I was homeschooled.
Yeah,
So
and it's also proximity. You spend enough time with any female.
that's what I'm talking about.
You're going to have something there. This is why, guys and girls,
Yeah.
use separate bathrooms.
Yes. And so we're hanging out all the time, and there was the only female in my entire life, my age. So I'm like, okay. Obviously, there was something there, but I kind of moved on. I was like, no, that's not a good,
Not
a
a good thing. Yep.
Yeah, not a good look.
Yep.
Still friends all this time.
Yep.
So separately, me and Steve go on photography trips because we would be on Instagram. We would see, oh, look at this, look at Big Sur, look at Big Sur, look at Seattle. He's like, I've always wanted to go to Seattle, and I was like, bro, we're always shooting photography. Let's go and travel. And he's like, okay, cool. So what we did is like, hey, we're gonna take a mix of our camping skills and a mix of our photography skills, and we're gonna go. And so we did a road trip all the way up to Seattle from San Diego, West Coast road trip, and we hit all the major points, taking photos along the way, camping in my car. So we literally just pulled up to Walmart, camp. We literally showered in the ocean, just like swim trunks, run in, wash your hair.
Wait. You can't shower in the ocean.
I know. You're telling me. You're telling me.
Just didn't want to brush over that. That wasn't a shower.
No, yeah, just scrub your hair and be like, look, San Francisco, freezing ocean, run in, because we actually went to the beach to get their public showers, but they were shut down because of.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
You
before COVID.
bathed in the ocean.
Yeah. So we had to do it. The. You're saying there's no shower. Yeah. We had to bathe in the ocean.
I'm just saying.
That
Never
sounds
mind.
sus.
Keep going.
And so
sus is an understatement to where the story is.
It's like a polar plunge.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, leave, and then we would camp. We'd camp in my Saturn, my SUV.
You and Steve.
Me and Steve, and we'd be go take photos and have a good time. We'd drive back and we'd be in deep conversation. And as time went on, I would just notice like small things. It was just small things. And I was
what?
like, well. Okay, this is a good example.
Okay.
White boy sus humor.
Sus humor. Tell me. Hit me.
If anyone knows white boy sus humor, you also know that there's a understanding. And it just seemed like Steve never really understood white boy sus humor. Like,
because it wasn't humor?
Maybe, man. So we're all friends hanging out, and he would be the only one not partaking in white boy sus humor.
Yeah.
And so when me and Steve were on this trip, and it was in other moments too, like he always got called the name in the group. You're G-A-Y. Like,
no,
always
I didn't know
roasted
this
him.
part.
Everyone roasted him. Bro, don't be so... Whatever, right?
Gosh darn it.
No, he was white.
What?
And so everyone would roast him and like he just stood out a little bit. And part of that was white boy sus humor. And like if he tried to partake in it, it was weird. It was like, bro, no. Like too far. Or just even like, you're being weird. Like, don't say that. What are you talking about? And he was very emotional and emotionally aware of his feelings. And yeah. And so we're driving back from this road trip, and you know, it's crossed my mind. He's never dated a girl, all these things. And I'm like, and we're driving down almost back to San Diego, and he says, we're just talking about, yada, yada, yada. Oh, have you seen this person, Jason? And I was like, and he's on Facebook. He's just on his phone. He's like, have you seen Jason? And I was like, Jason from my elementary school orchestra? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, he's gay now. Did you know this? I was like, oh. Honestly, it's not a surprise, but I only knew him in 6th grade. So flash forward to high school. I'm not surprised. I'm like, he's like, yeah, he's like in a whole relationship and everything. I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I was like,
real quick, white boy sus humor is when white boys joke about being gay with each other as a troll.
No, absolutely
no.
Not.
Just give me a 1-sentence summary of what white boy sus humor is, because that's what I always thought it was. I don't partake.
Here's the
give me the 1-sentence version.
Okay, it's not being gay with each other. Joking about being gay with each other. Okay. It's just gay jokes, in the simplest way.
Oh, okay.
In the simplest way, it's with a tendency. The goal is to make the other person uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like
I've just seen it. Okay, so I've seen it exhibited from some other zesty white guys.
Yeah. No, so
keep going.
The goal is like, I'm gonna make a sus joke to make you uncomfortable, and we're all laughing at your reaction, right? And so you're like, oh, bro, too far. And it's like, that's the humor.
Got it.
That's it.
Cool.
And then, or they reciprocate it back, and now that joke's on you because they went too far, and you're like, dang, that's horrible.
Yep.
So that's white boy sus humor.
Okay. Inappropriate sus humor.
Inappropriate. Yeah, it's inappropriate sus humor.
Coarse gesture.
It's definitely coarse gesture. It's a sin.
Okay, keep going.
And so he's like, yeah, have you seen Jason on he's gay now, and I think he's dating somebody. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. I honestly not much of a surprise. And he's like, huh, that's crazy. And then he started going to ask like, do you think being gay is a sin?
All along you guys are in church, you're going to youth group.
We're in church, we're in youth group, we're the ones that are most committed.
Yep.
He's extremely conservative. He's buying I don't kneel shirts during the Kaepernick thing. Like like he had some sort of conservative nickname we used to give him all the time because he was the most conservative one. Yes. He was just hardcore like that. Yes. And so he's asking like, do you think being gay is a sin? And then we go into a deeper conversation and like, what does that look like for someone that's like that? I was like, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's a different cross to bear for sure. And we're going deep, and then that conversation just kind of patters away, but it goes deep in my head, and it stuck with me. And I'm like, he's pretty curious about that question specifically. Mind you, we've called him gay our entire life. Like, bro, you're so gay. Like in the meanest way possible. The meanest way. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Now flash forward, and some months, and I meet my wife.
Shout out to your wife.
She wasn't my wife when I met her.
I would hope not.
Yep. Speaking of her, cool. We have till 5:40, and I meet my wife. The spark in high school, and the spark of meeting my wife sets off a series of emotions from what's his name? Steve. Sets off a series of emotions from Steve.
Okay.
So I start dating my wife, and I'm telling Steve, hey, bro, I think I'm gonna ask her out. Like, mind you, she was coming to youth group for a little bit, and he was familiar with her.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, man, that's super awesome, yada, yada, yada. He was with me when we were just like talking and like we went to the high school football game and then me, him, and her walked back to her place and we just kind of walked her back to her house. So he was with me along the process. He's like, oh, dude, she's so cool, yada, 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 yada. I asked her out.
You going to mention Ashley too or no?
Rachel. And so that night I asked her out. We're driving downtown like, yo, let's go out. Let's celebrate. This is awesome. She said yes. She wants to go out. And so we're going downtown and Steve texts Rachel. Mind you, over the time, Rachel and I started distancing. I met my wife. One, I got around a lot more females. I met my wife and she was very sweet, servant-hearted, very kind. And Rachel was she was coarse. She was
a tomboy.
Sarcastic. She was a tomboy. Yes. And so she would roast Steve all the time. And I'm like, stop like we're hanging out and she would just like trash this man. No, Steve, this is so dumb. Yeah. Like well, you're a lot. And so I started moving away from I started enjoying that friendship less. And Steve texts Rachel while me and Steve are hanging out right at the day that I asked out my wife, and he says, yo, Zach asked out Melissa. That's so cool. I get a text, ding, and it's from Rachel, and it says, hey, I had to find out, like, hey, I'm stoked that you asked her out and she said yes, but I had to find out that you were dating somebody through Steve, and like, I kind of wish you were able to just tell me directly. Does this mean that we're not going to be as close anymore? In my 17-year-old self,
what did you say, man?
I replied with, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Then the onslaught came. The onslaught of, are you kidding me? Who are you? I don't know you anymore. And I'm like, whoa. Mind you, hindsight, I definitely handled that improperly. But who are you? I'm so upset right now. I can't believe this. It's like I never even knew who you really were, and this is all coming out right now. And I'm like, homegirl, what's the issue?
Yeah.
I'm dating a woman. I don't want to be close with another woman.
Yep.
Mind you, 17, that's how linearly I thought
That's how you
it.
think at 17.
Yep. I had zero conversations with her leading up to this idea that when I start dating, this relationship will have to distance. Zero conversations. Not hindsight, I handled that horribly wrong. So she was in the youth group as well. And Rachel was having a really hard time with it. A really hard time. Crying.
Wait. How do you know she was crying?
She goes to her parents. Her parents are like, I can't believe he did this, yada, yada, yada. They reach out to my youth pastor. My youth pastor is like trying to mediate this conversation. And it's like, what's going on? And he kind of gets the down low. And basically he tries to mediate this conversation. He's like, look, man, he tells me, you did the right thing. Like, honestly, it's just hard. Maybe you probably didn't handle it as well. Yada, yada, yada. It's like, I would try to have some conversations with her. Yada, yada, yada. So on some youth group nights, like my girlfriend is coming to the youth group nights, and then like, but we just started dating. So like I leave the room with Rachel to go talk to her outside. And like, and she's like in tears. She's like, body language is like all this stuff. I hear behind the scenes, she's like, she's crying. And then this escalates to the head pastor.
Oh gosh. I didn't know this part, by the way.
Bro,
I did not
this
know
is the first week of me dating my wife. And this escalates to the head pastor. I'm like, and he's like, Zach's wrong. He's got to fix it.
Your head pastor said this?
Yeah, my head pastor said this.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. And I was like, and I was 17, non-confrontational, which is probably the reason I just said, yeah, probably. Right? When she asked that question.
Just probably. Everything is just probably. I was wrong, probably.
Yeah, probably. And so he's like, you got to address this. I was like, look, we're too deep now, baby. There's no going back.
Yeah.
So, and I also genuinely felt like I made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, and I had a conversation with her. I don't remember the details, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about like, hey, I definitely handled that improperly, but this is kind of how it is going to be. Mm-hmm. So, moving forward, Rachel's out of my life. I'm just kidding. That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
And she says she didn't have any feelings for me, so I'll take her word for it.
Yeah.
But
being very charitable,
but everyone else around said she probably had feelings for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm dating my wife, and over time, Steve starts saying things like, we just don't hang out as much as we used to. And I was like, yeah. It happens, man. And mind you, I went back to school full time. So I'm in high school full time. Mm-hmm. And more things coming up. Like, he would just be very in his feelings about things. Mm-hmm. And he would just be like, I miss you. I miss when we'd be able to hang out. And I was like, why are you using these words? Mm-hmm. And it would escalate. And over time, it got to a point where I was like, bro, you need to cut it out.
You said this to him?
Yes. I said, we did not break up.
You said this to him?
Yeah, I was like, you're acting like a girlfriend that got broken up with. That's my paradigm. You're acting like a girlfriend that got broken up with. He's like, yeah. And,
whoa. That was his response?
Yeah.
Is this in person?
Or no, it wasn't exactly like that. I'm just kind of like saying things.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyways, so I'm like, bro, like, that's sus, whatever, da-da-da-da. And
does this kind of culminate to when you got engaged?
No.
Okay.
No. So we're dating, and he's like learning to cope, but he's always having these like really strong feelings. And in my head, I'm like, this is the age-old story of, oh, the homie doesn't hang out with us anymore.
Right.
But from a more emotional type of dude that's a little more in tune with his feelings.
Yep.
And during this whole time, things would come up, and I remember a few solid times where I'm like, bro, are you gay?
You asked him this flat out?
Yes. Because there were things where I'm like, we can't be kicking it like sleeping in the same car if this is what time you're on. Mm-hmm. Just because small things. There was nothing like explicit. Mm-hmm. And there was nothing explicit, but there was things where I'm like, I have to call this out. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no. I seriously am not. I'm asexual.
Whoa, he said he was asexual?
Yeah. I was like, all right, man. You're asexual? He's like, yeah, it's like, honestly, like, I don't really desire like to be married or have a girlfriend or like any sort of relationship. He's like, I kind of just want like, I wish I could just kind of like, and he's like, because I think I'm asexual, I wish I could just have homies that could like, we could get an apartment and just like live forever together. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm getting a little more concerned here. Mm-hmm. At this point, John Keith pops into my life.
Mm-hmm. Shout out John Keith.
I'm living upstairs of the studio here. Mm-hmm. And me and John are kicking it all the time. And I'm telling this dude, like, I'm telling John these stories. And he's like, oh, he's gay. And then Steve comes up. We go like, hey, bro, let's shoot this stuff for YouTube. Let's have fun. Yeah. And he comes up to the studio. Yep. John's here as well. And he goes in to shake John's hand. And then afterwards, when Steve's gone, John says, bro, he's so gay. Mm-hmm. I met him in person for the first time, and he's gay. And I was like, bro.
Did I meet him around this time?
I think so, just casually.
Casually, in passing.
And I was like, bro, what are you talking? I was like, here's the thing. I'm starting to agree with you. I'm telling John this. But I have to trust the homie that's been the homie since we're 12. I've asked him flat out. And I asked him flat out, and he says no. Mm-hmm. I was like, so even if I'm 95% guarded now, mm-hmm. I have to trust him. And John's like cracking out, like, no, bro, he is 100%. And I was like, I have to trust the homie.
Yep.
until he comes out.
Yep.
And so, yeah, things culminate, and me and Steve are hanging out again, and we're driving, just gonna do our regular routine, shoot some photos, go get some food, and he says, "Oh, me and Jason have been hanging out." If you guys,
Jason, you guys remember Jason?
If you guys remember Jason, Jason was the guy that on our trip coming back from Yosemite, he said, "Is he gay?" And I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. I didn't remember." Fast forward months, 6-8 months maybe. And he says, me and Jason have been hanging out. They have zero connection. Jason's not in church. Jason never went to the same school. Jason's never been homeschooled. Jason was a few grades above me in my private school growing up. So the first thing, the last time I heard of the name Jason was that conversation we had.
Wow.
And I said, "Isn't he gay?" And he said, "Yeah, what? So?" He's like, you can't, like, Christians can't have friends that are gay. I was like, "No, we can." I was like, "But you don't know this dude, and all of a sudden you're hanging out with him, and the only thing you knew about him was that he's gay." I was like, "It's really odd. It's really weird." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "He's just a cool guy, and we hang out." And he says, "He's a cool guy, and we hang out, but, you know, I think I'm going to be moving to Colorado soon, so we're wondering if we want to continue hanging out or not." Friends don't mutually agree to stop hanging out because someone's moving.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, relationship. And I go home in tears. I'm just kidding. Oh. No, John's home, and I was like, "Bro, I think this is it. And John's like, "Bro, he's 100%. And I said, "He's 99%. Gotta trust the homie 1%. He said to my face, he is not gay multiple times. I'm trusting him to my face. Still guarded. One day I have a photo shoot, super late, and it's an Airbnb. It's for a laser light company. So I'm pulling up, and it's just me. They already set up the lights. I'm just pulling up. And it's actually right by Steve's house. And I'm like, "Yo, Steve, come to the shoot with me. Just kick it. Literally hang out. I just don't, like, it's just gonna be mad lonely there. Like, watch the new NFL games, whatever it is. I don't care. We can just talk trash." And he's like, "Okay, cool. That sounds good." As a good friend would. And I come up to pick him up, and he walks out holding 2 churros from Burros and Fries. Now, Burros and Fries is across town. But I take a bite. What's going on in that churro? It's a cream-filled churro. Burros and Fries is the only people that make cream-filled churros. And then he says, I was like, "Why do you have 2 churros?" He said, "Oh, me and Jason were going to hang out tonight." But he had to cancel. You bought a phallic-shaped cream-filled churro for Jason. My 1% has evaporated. Actually, yes, it's evaporated. Maybe 0.5% because he still said it to my face. But I was like, this dude was going to hang out with Jason at 9 p.m. at night for a Udi call and had cream-filled churros for each of them. None of my homies have ever bought me a cream-filled churro, and they ain't my homie if they do. And for that reason, I have not had a churro since. Unless I'm eating it with a fork and a knife. I'm putting that on a plate. Yo, and we are pinkies up. Eating this properly. I go tell John, and he's like, bruh,
Bruh.
he is gay. And I was like, I know. Fast forward. Just a couple months, maybe a couple weeks actually. It's his last day in San Diego before he moves back to Colorado. He just had a really hard time in San Diego. Oh, mind you guys, he was serving in the youth group. He was a leader. He was a youth group leader. He wasn't teaching, but he was a youth group leader for the kids.
Salute Andy Stanley.
Yep. And on the last day, he says, "Hey, can we hang out? I just want to talk before we leave." And I said, "This is it. This is it." And Steve then, like, we drove to the mall. We grabbed some food at our favorite places, and he's like, "Let's go eat at the park." And I was like, "We normally eat at the food court." I was like, "This is it. This is it." So we go to the park, and he proceeds to come out to me about being homosexual, which lots of feelings. One was he told me all the proclivities he's been up to behind the scenes.
Well, he came out on his own terms with you.
And he came out on his own terms with me. So I'm hearing this for the first time. Not only is it confirmed, so 100%, but also he's been doing the deed with Jason. And I'm like, dang, that's heavy to hear. And then he goes on to say, and I knew this was coming. I thought we would spend the rest of our lives together. I had feelings for you. And I was like, me, dog? Me? I was like, we had all that alone time? Like, all those trips? And I never hinted that was something I wanted, but it was cognitive dissonance, really. And we were close. You mix that with some white boy sus humor, but also calling him GAY, just being complete. So, and then it came around to that.
He was probably like, "I thought you knew all along. You guys been calling me this."
he knew I wasn't. He knew I was. He's like, yeah. He's like, and then when he's like, I just thought like maybe there was a chance. And then when you started dating Melissa, I knew you were actually like serious.
Whoops.
And I was like, yeah, man. And he's like, and that was really hard. I felt like I lost the person I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. And I'm like, I'm like choking down teriyaki chicken. And
I can't believe he said this to you over food.
Yes, bro. I'm like, I'm trying to eat. No, but
are you engaged at this point?
No,
not even engaged yet. Okay.
And so John, but thankfully, me and John had lots of conversations where he actually mentally prepared me for this. He's like, "What would you do if he came out?" I was like, "I would disown that fool."
Whoa.
I was like, for all that the disrespect of making me like us sleeping in tents together, sleeping in cars together, always hanging out one-on-one. And I'm like, I would disown that fool. It's complete disrespect and lack of trust. Yeah. And he's like, "You can't do that, bro."
Yeah. You felt violated though, kind of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But John prepared me. Was like, you can't cut this man off or be disrespectful to this man. I was like, all right. So I actually told him that. I was like, honestly, John prepared me for this conversation. And he's like, "You've actually had the best reaction out of everyone. I thought you would have the worst." And I actually told him that to his face. Yeah. I said, when we were on trips.
Did you?
When we were on trips, I said, "Bro, if you ever came out to me, I would be so angry that you played me all these years. We would not be friends."
You said that to him?
I said that to him. Wow. And this was before John helped prepare me. Yeah, he crossed the bro code line for sure.
Were you prepared that he had feelings for you? Like, did you see that coming?
Yes, because I knew if this was true, this was also true. If GAY was true, this was also true based off how he's been acting. But I wasn't really preparing that him full on just saying it. Saying that out loud. And I was like, dang, man. And so we had a deep conversation about where he's at with his faith. And he's like, not really messing with it. Yada, yada, yada. He's like, "I'm drinking a lot." He's like, I think I'm gonna just move to Colorado and find myself type of thing. And then he's just swinging the other direction. He's super liberal, left his super conservative values. Actually, really sad. I think he's doing a lot better now. He's doing a lot better now. But I mean, that's his lifestyle now. But he's not like it seems from afar from reports that he's doing okay. But it doesn't sound like he had a really hard time when he first moved and was like trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
are you guys
man,
still friendly, cordial? No.
We were friends. Like it was just a natural distance.
Was he at the wedding?
No.
Yeah. He was already at Colorado.
Yeah. There was a natural distance there that happened. It was like I would still try to call him and FaceTime him, be like, "Yo, dude, how you doing?" Yada yada yada.
Yep.
And then he's like talking about his proclivities and talking about how he's having a hard time keeping track of all their names. And I'm like, what else is new?
Yeah.
And there just wasn't over time. And I still, it is really sad. It is really sad. And I still like feel for the dude.
Yeah.
But over time it was like there was just a natural distance of like he's living this complete other lifestyle, complete other interests, found a whole new friend group. And I got deeper into my faith, got engaged, got married. And so that was kind of, and then so it was just like we were FaceTiming once every month I probably FaceTimed 2 or 3 times since he moved to Colorado.
Got it.
And then it was just like off the radar. And it was kind of just a natural understanding that like
he could have spared the story about it, knowing your values. Yeah, that probably would have been the wise thing to do, I think. I think. So is there anything else? Because guys, is this the greatest friend zone story ever?
So that was the story of when I had to friend zone my
2 people,
female friend and my male best friend.
Hey man,
you were my best friend.
You was a high value man though. You was in high demand. You was a high value man before Kevin Samuels was talking about it. You was a high value man, bro. Top G.
I was pulling.
Top of the dominance
I was
hierarchy.
A double threat.
Double threat. Wanted it from everybody. Best friend zone story ever. This is going to be up for another
48 hours.
47 hours.
Is coming down.
3 out of 5 stars. Hype was up there. 3 out of 5 stars, Patrick. Patrick, you're full of it.
3 out of you guys rated it on a scale of 10. So would that be like a 7 out of 10?
No, this is definitely a high 8, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say. I would say so.
I've never heard a greater friend zone story than this. Because you friend zone 2 people. You didn't get friend zoned. You friend zoned 2 people.
I've never, thinking back, actually, I'm not going to say that. I would hope that how I told this story was very charitable to both Steve and Rachel, and I don't plan on them seeing this.
So please do not rip this and share this on the internet. You guys got 48 hours to watch it. What happened to the other girl? Nothing happened to the other girl.
She went to college and continued her life and kept it pushing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what she did.
Yep. At 1,500 members, Ruslan tells a story.
We're only working on the thousands here.
I'm not opposed to telling a story. What story should I tell that's probably too spicy for YouTube?
So you already told the Satanist story on the.
I did. That was great.
That was great. I think Melissa's here.
Give me some other stories I could tell.
Okay. I don't know.
I got a Jehovah's Witness story when I dated a Jehovah's Witness girl. And I could tell that story. All right, guys, we got to go. I got to go pick up my daughter. Thank you guys for hanging out. I think that was the best friend zone story ever. Zach may disagree. Zach doesn't disagree. Zach knows it's the best friend zone story ever. How is he doing? The tattoo guy, right? Yeah. He's doing okay. I haven't gotten a new tattoo. I don't, I'd have to go get a tattoo in order to kind of reconnect with him. But last time we texted, he was doing much better, it seemed like. Zach had me on the edge of my seat. Good. All right, guys. There's it. Just rewind it, Nathaniel. This will be up. All right? I got to clip out the name because this freaking goober said the name. Love you guys. All right? If you go back to the Patreon post, drop some ideas or some stories you would want me to tell. At 2,000, I'm thinking about bringing my dad on. I think that would be interesting. I'm trying to get my wife on at 3,000. She's not with it right now, but I might be able to persuade her. What's up? Your hydro drug. All right. Yeah, man. Thank you guys, though. Thank you guys. We're gonna keep trying to create like exclusive content for you guys like this. I have a ton of friend zone stories, but not as good as that. I got friend zoned by 3 girls in 1 year before I met my wife, so I could tell that story if you guys want. 1,500. Friend zoned by 3 girls in the same year, and then met my wife, so I could tell that story. I'll say the names too, because I don't care. I don't care. All right. Love you guys. Thank you. You're far too kind. See you guys later. Peace.